Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to week 5 of the Weeknight Warrior Sim series. We are at Dover, and I am super excited for this one. We've had some super short tracks, we're getting a little bit bigger, and we're going to have some intermediate racing out here tonight. Luke, are you excited? Yeah, absolutely, me too. It's a great track to get 2X's out here, but as for these drivers, it's gonna be all about carrying that momentum without overshooting it. And just looking at the grid so far, it looks like Dawson Price in the 54 machine is on the pole right now with Matt Morrison in the 6 on his outside. We still have about a minute left on qualifying, so a couple more laps could roll through. But right now, your top 5 is looking like Price, Morrison, Warner, Johnson. Oh, and how about Blaze Billing hopping into that second spot to round out your top 5 out here? Ian Fry's still on the track, working his qualifying, doing sort of a high to low thing going.
I'll be honest, Kevin, my mic was muted there for the beginning portion of that. What's going on, everybody? Said a little something about the track being nicknamed the Monster Mile, and we're excited to be here. So, wrapping up qualifying here. Ian Fry out here trying to get his, I believe his last lap here. Looking at 34 drivers on the field out here on the evening.
Another full field out here tonight.
That's right.
And with that being said, qualifying is over. All cars are removed from the track. And how about Dawson Price getting the pole?
Yeah, we're looking at, I believe, a 31 car field out here as it stands. We don't have that confirmed yet, of course. We don't know who all is going to be actually taking the grid out here, or who might just be some officials, but we got the grid coming our way now. We'll be able to start rattling some of these drivers off out here as they begin to take the grid out here. I believe should be coming our way shortly here.
Absolutely, I've got it whenever you're ready.
Yeah, go for it.
On your pole tonight is going to be Dawson Price with Blaze Billing on his outside. Second row is going to be Matt Morrison and Nicholas Warner. Third row is going to be Daryl Johnson and Omar Rodriguez. Fourth row is going to be Nick Hames and Kenneth McCullough Jr. Fifth row is going to be Al Likens and Aaron Wright. Sixth row is going to be Sean Merriman and Jacob Petrosky. Seventh row is going to be James Hudson and Kyle Van Drunen. Eighth row is going to be Kyle Reynolds and Travis Farmer. Nolan Gross and Garrett Hummel. 10th row is going to be John Marino and Connor Price, last week's winner. 11th row, Reagan Shockley and Ty Carino. Kian Fry and Christopher McCullough. Chad Strelo and Jeremy Osborne. Buster Malcolm and Hunter Azell. David McCullough and Aiden Stevens. Mike Hill and Logan Murray. And rounding out your 34 car field, it's Justin Zemecki and Jaden Knight.
And in 34 cars out here on the field tonight, Kevin, it's gonna be a wild one. That's a lot of cars to pack into such a small track out here.
Absolutely, absolutely. And once again, it's got about a mile long, Luke. I think, as far as fuel goes, it's going to be a one-stop sort of night for these guys, assuming we get a green flag run. Unfortunately, we didn't see it last week. I'm more confident we're going to see that green flag run tonight as opposed to last week. But I'm just thinking, Luke, you wanna set the line on cautions tonight, or you want me to kind of stick with that?
You know what? I'll take it this time. I think you set it at 11 and a half here. The drivers were given specific instructions out here tonight to leave all all bygones in the previous race here. They're all under specific instruction here to leave everything in that past race where it was, and we'll see if that hopefully clears things up out here as compared to what happened last time.
Absolutely, and cars starting to roll here as the pace car leads them around. Thanks to everyone for coming out tonight to watch. I see about 17 viewers in here right now. Appreciate everyone coming out. Let us know who you're rooting for in the chat.
Or just say whatever the hell you want in the chat. We don't care. But we're getting ready to kick this thing off. Got 160 laps out here. Light's still on the pace car here. I believe we're going to be extending this one just a little bit. A lot of the drivers still catching up here, it seems. The light is off this time, and we're going to get ready to go green out here. So we're looking at the front bumper of your leader, Dawson Price, here.
Two-time race winner this season, Dawson Price.
Looking at our zero with
light
caution
is
right
back
now.
on. Light goes back on the pace car, making sure everybody's caught up, everybody's together as far as getting going out here. And a little bit of a blinking internet issue there for the 54, hoping he gets that out of the way during the pacing as opposed to when we go green here.
One thing I'd like to point out here, Kevin, we saw it a lot in the practice, and we did see it a little bit there in the qualifying. Just looking through that high line deep into these turns here, especially on the entries, there's a lot of debris already gathered up there on the top of that track line. So these drivers are really going to have to be careful if they're opting for that high line out here, which we know is, I believe, a little bit slower, if I'm not mistaken. But please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, and I would guess the same. I'm not 100% positive, but I'd guess the grip is lower with the banking here at Dover, but we're going to have to find out because something tells me that the 54 car of Dawson Price has a better idea than both of us combined out here.
Yeah, probably. Seeing as how he put the best lap up there on the qualifying session. We are reading green, but the pace car is going to roll around with the lights off, so signifying as of now we're going to be going green this time. We'll see if that stands here.
71% of viewers believe that we will be hitting over that 11.5 caution mark.
Not much hope from the fans, it seems, but I got some hope in the drivers out here, Kevin. I think they're gonna be able to tighten it up a little bit compared to last race. I believe we got a little bit longer to track compared to 5 flags now.
Absolutely, about double in size, so a little bit more room, a little bit more space for these guys to breathe and hopefully make cleaner passes as opposed to last week. That being said, I do believe pace car is coming in right now.
Yep. I was also told it's going to be a sketchy pit entrance for these guys. We just saw it right there, but we'll just see what they can do as we're going green right now. Through the restart zone.
Green
Leader's
flag,
blinking, but there we go.
Good jump there for Dawson Price as he's going to be able to migrate up to that high side in front of Blaze Billings.
See the
as
rest
they
of them
all
pile
make
into
it
turn
through
1.
Turns 1 and 2 seemingly cleanly.
Jump back up here to your leaders. Seeing a lot of two-wide racing right now, Kevin. A lot of two-wide racing, but these passes are going to happen quick and they're going to happen early here. These guys are going to try to file into these positions as quick as they can, try to get on that single line groove. But as it stands, Dawson Price, he clearly had the material to get that good jump going, but Blaze Billing not wanting to hang too far off of him.
Yeah, and Fred, I've got to agree.
Knocking him a little off speed, but he's still going to remain well within that speed gap to catch his driver.
I was just going to say, I've got to believe in that under as well. I think we're going to see 11 or lower on the caution count by the end of the night. Got about 157 to go, though. How about Kenny McCullough rocking the blue Gold paint scheme?
Schemes out here tonight. Kevin gives us a good chance to mention the night's sponsor here, Fast Fred's Wrap Shop. If you're looking for any good paint schemes, send the message his way, as I believe we see quite a few drivers out here rocking the same paint scheme. Schemes ran from Fast Fred's. Watching the nose of James Hudson right now, who's sitting comfortably in P9.
6 laps in, and not much has changed as far as your top 5. We've seen so far Kenny McCullough and Omar Rodriguez on the move, making their way up into the top 5. Whereas we're seeing a quickly fading 6 car of Matt Morrison trying to get a read on where he is sitting. Back at 27th, so maybe some issues we missed with him.
Maybe not reading anything currently on our tower, but it appears that Blaze Billing here is starting to close that gap between him and the leader, Dawson Price. And you know, fair enough reading the chat here. I think it is fair to assume in these previous races these drivers may repeat the same kind of situation that's happened these last couple races, but you know, we got to have faith still, Kevin. I at least have some faith in these guys. I think they'll be able to, oh boy, and, you know, just real-time reading it here. We're hearing the forehead tattoo is still on the line, just so you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Now 2 drivers in the pot, Aiden Stevens and Jacob Petrosky. Round. The 11 car of Kyle Reynolds trying to make things happen here as he's sitting kind of on that edge of the top 15. Currently in 12th, up 3 spots on the evening, with a little bit of blinking there in front of him. It's going to be the 28 of Connor Price, your last week's race winner. And you know, we saw Dawson Price blinking earlier, so I'd imagine maybe on the same internet, and if so, maybe using up each other's bandwidth. But the voting has evened itself out. It's 5 votes to 5 votes right now on the cautions over-under.
So far, so good, Kevin. I feel like these guys are at least off to a good start here, considering we're seeing a lot of 2-wide racing here throughout the middle of the pack. Looking around that P12 category right now. You know, with this track being a little wider, a little longer compared to 5 Flags, it's definitely a little more forgiving. But it's going to definitely take into effect here throughout the duration of this races. These guys are going to probably start to get a little more comfortable on these tires here. Take a gander over here at our track temperature. It's a warm day out here. We got a 117-degree track temp out here right now with a 80-degree day. And oh, the 31! Hard into the wall. It's Nick Hames.
Nick Hames gets into it with the 2 car of James Hudson, and that's going to bring out caution number 1 of the day.
Although it seems
both of them keep it isolated to a 2-car incident. I have to see how that damage looks.
Going to say the same thing there, Kevin. It seems to be an isolated incident, but pace car is out and they're going to go around here. Let's go back and see if we can get a feel for that one here and see what led to that. You know, it happened right around Nick Hames here, so let's see what we can find out.
Looks like, to me at least, the 31 just not necessarily clear coming up, using the track to kind of carry the momentum up the track. Tries to get in front of the 2, and
Thinks
by
he's
inches it
clear,
looks like
but
he wasn't clear, and that's a hard hit into the wall.
overall though, like you said, I think the incident was rather contained. I'm not reading any meatballs on the track right now at all, so I think those involved are going to probably make their way in here as we jump live. We see Nick Hames and a group of the other guys all making their way through pit road. They're all making their way into their pit stalls right now. Among the likes is going to be Buster Malcolm, Nicholas Warner, Hunter Azell. We got Nick Hames, James Hudson, Kyle Van Drunen, and Connor Price all making their way through the pits. And I'm reading Christopher McCullough on his way out.
We've seen some early pits here. I'd imagine the guys out here are kind of changing up their strategy a little bit, as opposed to what we've seen the past couple weeks. Understanding that we could see a green run out here tonight. We just got a good 17, 18 laps in there, and it's kind of a different feeling out here.
Yeah, it is. And, by popular demand, the chat asks for Aiden Stevens cam, so I'll give you an Aiden Stevens pace cam here. But, we made it almost, what was that, 17 laps deep? Green there, I believe. I know we did have that late start, but either way, that was a pretty good portion of this thing already ran through, so I'd say at least a good hope there to begin with. And overall, the incident itself was extremely isolated, like I said. Let's see, our I rating here throughout the field of drivers has quite the range here. Our peak being a little over 3,000 and the lowest being a bit below 1,000. Getting deeper into this season, Kevin, we were, they were told here at the beginning of this thing to let all events that transpired in the last race stay in the last one, but how deep do you think we get into this season before these guys really start getting things established in terms of relationships with each other?
I don't know. I think a lot of these guys understand that, it's kind of short track racing to start the season, and it's going to happen. But at the same time, I do think a couple rivalries are brewing out here, as we see Dawson Price, who probably doesn't really have any rivals. He's led a lot of laps this season, and most of his opponents have been in his rear view for a big portion of the season. He's going to be on the jump here as we go green. Blaze Billing and Omar Rodriguez. Yeah, Blaze Billing going to clear around Omar Rodriguez right away. And we are back to racing.
Gonna file through. Most of them still too wide since that restart. And immediately back under caution, we are reading that Aaron Wright has had some issues here. And we're going to go back and take a look at that one. But from what it looks like, he's the only one I'm reading, but I'm also reading that Garrett Hummel made his way into the pits. Let's go back and take a look here and see what we can figure out here. It's going to be the overhead of Aaron Wright here. We'll be watching this real time.
Going up in front of Chris McCullough.
3 wide going into
Making
turn
it 3 wide. And then the 2 car again getting into the back corner, this time of Aaron Wright. It looks like, he's going up the track a little bit.
It seems, maybe.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of netcode there to contribute to the incident. And that's going to bring out caution number 2. Another decent shot there for the front right of the 2 car, as well as the 70, as well as Chris McCullough.
Yeah, the 04 going to be missing, I believe, his whole front bumper entirely after that one, unfortunately. Yeah, as it is just being pushed around right here. But I imagine most of them, going to be making their way into the pits. Still no meatballs on the read right now, though, Kevin, so we're still seeing all 34 drivers out here still registered, still driving in the pits or out. 22 laps deep. That's something you got to appreciate out here compared to the last race out here, as I believe we had already been missing about 5 drivers come this time last race.
Yeah, absolutely, Fred. I've got to agree. Cautions are breeding cautions, and I think that's been the big, factor here within the past 3 or 4 races, because it seems like that first initial green run of 10 or 20 laps, it just seems like if we could get that, in multiple, different runs, we'd be all right. But it seems like once it starts, it's hard to stop out here.
I mean, if we do see a repeat of that caution history like last race, it becomes a question of what can the leader do here to save fuel in these pacing situations.
Absolutely. I don't think anybody's thinking make it all the way this time, but at the same time, I don't think anybody was thinking that last week, aside from kind of Bryce.
Yeah. Lights off the pace car here, so we're going to be going green this time around. It's going to be filing in here. I'm currently reading 28 cars on the lead lap still. The cutoff for this next lucky dog candidate is going to be Aaron Wright here. The guy's warming up some tires back there. Pace car is making its way in, and we're going to approach the restart zone once again. Here we go, racing once again, green.
Green flag is out. Another good jump by Dawson Price, and now the question is going to be, is Blaze Billing going to take that outside and wrap it around to get by Omar Rodriguez? And he's going to go for it.
He's going to have a lot of speed. He's going to have the pass here going down the back straightaway.
Yeah, and we've seen that 2 restarts in a row where that top side is just dominating, but maybe an issue for Dawson Price is he is way off the pace that we've seen so far.
Yeah, not too sure what's going on with him. He's currently still leading the inside line with the 09, thinking of making his way down there. That's a 3-wide scenario going through turns 1 and 2. The 11 completes the pass.
And quickly fading is the 54 car. We see him go all the way to the bottom of the racetrack.
Maybe some issues, as it looks like he's going to make his way towards the pit entrance now, Kevin.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's going to make his way into the pits now, but make no mistake, we're still racing out here, and Blaze Billing has the lead with Omar Rodriguez hot on his heels. Just a 1/10 of a second off now, Kevin. He is not too far staying in his draft. So the rest of the guys being led by Kenny McCullough, who we know has been hungry all season. He's had his rough races here these past couple weeks, but looking like he's gotten a second look here as he is making up positions fast.
Absolutely. He started in 8th place on the evening. He's made it up into 3rd, trending in the right direction out here.
You see most of the rest of the field here back to single file racing department with a couple of 2 wide. Pass attempts, and the 9 with a 6 with a lot of contact into the wall, and he's going to go spinning.
Caution flies. That was a very hard hit.
And a bumper loose down on the field. As we saw that one happen just about from the number 6 of Matt Morrison. We'll have to go back and try to watch that one back. We saw the contact, I believe, start there with that exit wall. We're going to go back and watch this from the inside here and see what we can figure out. think that exit wall just gets him off speed, and like you said, Kevin, a hard hit. No doubt.
Yeah, and I'm gonna bring over the 54 of Dawson Price, who had led this entire race, and see if it was sort of a mechanical issue or what we saw there, because definitely issues on that restart.
Yeah.
Hey, Dawson, guys in the booth, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, I just brought you over to kind of pick your brain on what sort of happened there on that restart. We saw maybe some mechanical issues or something kind of transpire there at the beginning of that one.
Yeah, I was counting it close. I went pretty late in the restart zone last green flag after the caution, and I think I jumped it just barely too much, and I got a black for jumping, so had to go in and serve it.
I
About to serve another one right now. I don't think it went through all the way, so I'll figure that out. But we're still early in. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well,
sure.
we wish you the best of luck, Dawson.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. That was Dawson Price, Luke, and jumping it just too early. And we kind of talked the past 2 weeks about how important these restarts are. I was able to get Connor Price a win last week, just being able to get out in front by nearing half a second on some of these restarts. But I guess the flip side of that is possible penalties if you jump it too good.
Of course, but that's going to set him in a very unique position. He's going to be on a pretty fresh car here, starting near the back of the field now. He's going to settle back into, 28th place. But he's going to be right next to Connor Price, who's currently sitting in the pits in 27th. But it's going to leave the opportunity, of course, to that very fast back speed corner there. The Blaze Billing there who made the transfer there early. Put him up into first place with Omar Rodriguez chasing him on the outside this restart.
Yeah, and Luke, I'd love to say that we were able to go and race with Blaze Billing for a little while this week at Nürburgring, but unfortunately we weren't able to because both of our cars were totaled within the first lap.
That's right. It was our first time running the Cadillacs. And...
No. This one was the 87s.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
87s definitely got the better of us.
And if we do end up getting to talk to Blaze Billing here tonight, I definitely owe him a bit of an apology there for the start of that race. I kind of turned him towards the wall a little bit, and it was definitely my bad. But we'll see if he sticks it out here tonight and gets up into a podium spot here for an interview, so I can say it to him. He's definitely rocking a good-looking scheme out here, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And looks like it's going to be a single file restart this time as everyone's still behind one another with the pace lights off. So it's going to be Blaze Billing leading the way with Rodriguez, McCullough, Reynolds, and Likens behind.
We'll see what they can do here. As Blaze Billing is going to have his first crack at the front of a restart here of this race. They're going to make their way through the restart zone. Green flag is in the air. Pretty good jump for Blaze Billing there to start this one. So we are right back to racing. A lot of drivers looking for that low line to try to make some passes here early. See one battle going on right there near Daryl Johnson. As they are too wide throughout this turn. Too wide in a lot of other places as well. Out here, David McCullough making his way up into the top 10. He's not too far off of Kenny now, who's sitting in third place. Seems everybody has filed into that single file racing apart from this current battle between the 15th place and, 16th? 15th and 14th, sorry. It's Daryl Johnson and John Marino. He completes the transfer of Daryl Johnson. He's going to get a shot here down the back straightaway. longer into this race we get, the more worn those tires are going to be. And we saw a lot of contact there with the exit walls here on those turns there in the practice, and even into the qualifying. We've seen a lot of evening races out here in the past couple, Kevin. I think we're going to have a long day race out here just by the looks of it. You know that.
Yeah, and you know that changes the dynamic for these Goodyear
Does.
tires. It makes them a lot warmer, grippier, but also burns down quicker. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys can fare. We see some blocks being thrown maybe towards the back there. We saw a couple guys go down to the bottom of the track. Still leading this thing is Blaze Billings, but Omar Rodriguez, as well as Kenny McCullough, hot on his heels.
They're fouled into a very close 1-2-3 right now, Kevin. They're not wanting to, give the upper leg to the guy up in the front, wanting to stay within his draft here now. So. The rest of the field behind him there, almost a second off on him now. There's about 4 drivers involved in that. Still seeing a lot of tight racing right now around the 13th position. Trying to make these transfers happen. Man, we're seeing a lot of slipping of those tires there through the exits, Kevin. Going to show these things are getting warmer and warmer every lap. Safe here since the last restart here. Getting a pretty good green flag run in here. And as soon as I say that, the caution flag is in the air and we see some smoke.
Just initial look here, and it looks like the O2 possibly? Is that O2 or is that 6-2?
The O2, but I see the smoke happening
up there. I got you.
Who do we have there? Tell who that is. It's not giving me an accurate name here. Oh, I think it's Blaze Billing. Oh, it is.
Oh, out of the lead. Oh, that's why we were missing it.
Man, I was about to say, what?
He's going around the turns, and I think that's possibly the worst possible camera angle we could have had.
I'll watch the overhead here. It's out of the exit two here, going down to the back stretch, and see Omar trying to take that wall, and oh man.
Yeah, trying to stay off the wall is the 92, and he just gets a little bit squirrely, comes down a little bit, and gets the right rear of Blaze Billing. That's going to take your leader out of the lead and possibly out of contention, as his car seems to have some front-end damage.
And just off of initial inspection here, it doesn't look the worst. We see that front right definitely some degree of damage out here, and that's going to change up the front now, Kevin. It's going to open the lead up to Omar Rodriguez.
Yeah, absolutely. Omar Rodriguez now in the lead. Kenny McCullough up into second position. Reynolds, Petrosky, and Likens bringing out your 3-4-5. We still have almost 3/4 of this race to go, though, so any damage that isn't race-ending surely could be made up. Speaking of being made up, we're seeing the 54 of Dawson Price getting back a lap after having to deal with that black flag.
Yeah, and definitely a good position to be in. He's got to be happy now. Back on the lead lap and in contention of making up some positions in this thing. And now it's going to open the second lucky dog position here for this next time. Going to go to Garrett Hummel. He can remain where he is. But the light's still on the pace car, so we're going to go around one more time here. You know, someone that we mentioned time and time again, it seems like every race, Kevin, Kenny McCullough. He's had a rough last couple races out here. We know he's hungry for, he's got to be hungry for a win out here.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. But Omar Rodriguez is the man that would have to pass, and he has looked quick tonight. Sitting in P1 right now.
Light is off the pace car here, and it looks like we're going to have another single file restart here like we saw the last time, Kevin. And it seemed to work well last time for the most part here. It's going to be Omar Rodriguez here. His first chance at the front of the restart here tonight. Pace car is going to make its way in, and they're going to approach the restart zone. As we see one very slow car there on the low line. It's the 31 of Nick Hames. I believe is trying to avoid going a lap down here, as we are green, green, green racing once again. See a good jump there for your leader. The rest of the guys filing in. No real attempts at any too wide passes here to start this thing, but it's going to change going through 3 and 4. Is making his way into the pits. You see he has currently issued a black flag.
Yeah, and it seems like his night's been downhill since being involved in one of those first cautions of the evening. Hard contact into that outside wall.
Door to door right now is John Marino and Daryl Johnson. We know they've had quite a few battles here so far tonight. Currently 50 laps into this race, 60 out here. The leaders are all still running single file wide out here all the way through P5. About Aiden Stevens now sitting comfortably up into the top 5. Had some Aiden Stevens fans in the chat last race. Oh, and the number 60 hard up into the wall. It's going to be tough to see what happened on that one. We caught it a little late, but a missing front bumper there for the 60. Seems to be contained. Everyone else is going to make their way around it. And that's Aaron Wright here. We know he's had a rough race, and I'm already seeing it right now. He's issued a meatball. No fast repairs on this thing out here tonight. That's going to do it for his race. But let's go back and see what led up to that one. As he's going to make his way into the pits. We're getting a little sneak peek of it there. I believe we're seeing a little bit of possibly a 3-wide scenario. Oh, and we see a little bit of wall contact there on the exit to... Oh, man. So, I mean, just going back and lining that one back just a little bit, we see contact with the exit wall from the 60. 78 and 18 both go for the pass on the inside. The 60 kind of tries to nose down there to try to get some room there. I guess doesn't really know that the 78 is as close as he is. Just gets him off-centered here, and we know with this track being as warm as it is, He just gets off speed there and off centered and takes quite the smack there from that exit wall. As we saw, that is unfortunately going to do it for him out here, as that's going to result in a meatball and going to be the end of the race there for Aaron Wright. But we're seeing the pit cycles all the way through here from about half the field. We're seeing, I believe, about 10 drivers staying out. Your leader, Omar Rodriguez, making his way into the pits out here, along with, like I said, half the field. About 12 decided to stay out, including Kenny McCullough, who's going to take position 1 here now. It's going to take us to our 5th caution of the evening. Dawson Price out here getting to make up his lap.
Yeah, and we're hitting that 1/3 point in the race right now, so deciding if you want to pit here or stay out is a huge decision. And I'm excited to see, if Omar Rodriguez taking his tires here is going to benefit him enough to give him the edge over the 03 of Kenny McCullough.
I gotta ask you, Kevin, you sipping on anything tonight out here?
Just lemonade.
Lemonade, yeah. What
Yeah.
brand lemonade you a fan of?
Fan of?
But, if you had to pick your top 3, what's your top 3 lemonade brands?
I'll put Minute Maid in the top 3. I don't think
That's
it's
a very
number
simple pick.
1. I think number 1's got to be Chick-fil-A. Don't know what it is.
I think it's the fresh squeezed lemons. I think that completely changes it. Well, we've seen our first big pit cycle out here from the guys. About 12 guys elected to stay out here. I believe the cutoff was Jeremy Osborne. Take a gander just to confirm. We've seen quite a few pits out here from a lot of the guys, but 2 of your top 3 out here have not pit yet. Kenny McCullough and Kian Fry both have not elected to come in and take their pit yet. So they're running on the oldest cars out here, oldest set of tires. Are in more need of fuel than the rest of them. So they definitely got to be thinking about it out here, as they're going to go through the exit of turn 4 here momentarily, and pace car is going to make its way in to restart this race once again. Kenny McCullough going to get his first jump out here of the afternoon. And we are going to be underway again here as they get ready to enter the restart zone. Green racing once again, and a good jump here for Kenny McCullough to get this thing underway. As he has a lot of separation between him and the other drivers behind him. We're seeing a bit of a 3-wide situation being forced there already. Already some crazy passes happening early, Kevin. These guys are looking to make their positions. They're looking to make them up fast out here. A lot of guys running completely different sets of tires out here. They could have a lot more grip than the rest. But as it stands, Kenny McCullough making a valiant effort here to defend this thing as Travis Farmer has caught up to him fast. Travis Farmer started in 14th on the grid out here to start this one, Kevin, as Kenny McCullough started in 7th. He is definitely
Absolutely,
one of
and
the
he
biggest
is,
movers. Oh, man,
on his
briefly
horse out
almost
here.
3 wide for the lead there, and man, like a shot out of a cannon, Sean Merriman has made the transfer around both Kenny McCullough and Travis Farmer here, and he is moving. No doubt, I believe, on a fresher set of tires here. Yes, he last pit on lap 43 out here. So he is running probably some of the freshest tires you can have out here, and it goes to show how much faster you are with a fresher set of tires. As you see Kenny McCullough starting to fade off now.
Yeah, fading quickly, but I think it's kind of, what he imagined here. Kind of just hoping he could stay in a decent spot when that next caution were to come out so he could get some new tires on. Sean Merriman, though, definitely sitting in one of the best tire situations as he came in about 16 laps ago and put on 4 fresh tires. As he is now flying around. Kian Fry also fading. We saw he was also on that no tire strategy.
Like I mentioned earlier in this race, Kevin, it's going to start to take effect here, especially the longer you wait these tires out. With is how the track is right now, and as it has been all afternoon. I believe we're still sitting at 110-degree track temperature, so it really has not cooled down. It's still a very, very hot track. We know it's susceptible to get slippery out here and get swirly. A lot of these guys still adamant to make these transfers happen early. You see the 99 of Kian Fry just struggling to hold on even to that outside line as they briefly think about 3 wide there between the 13 and the 36. They settle it through before making the pass around the 99. The trick is to stay consistent in these more short to intermediate tracks like this. You gotta know when to burn up these tires and make these transfers and when not to. And the 11's gonna go for it, and get the 13 loose, and damn! Oh, it's a pile up.
Oh wow! And the big one is still happening.
Oh my! Still bumping around here, and man, that was quite a rough wreck there. As I was just mentioning, the need to be careful here and knowing when to make these transfers. We saw the tough battle between the 13, 36, and 11 there throughout the last couple laps here. That's David McCullough sitting in the 13. The 11 goes for the transfer there through the turn.
Yeah, sees the speed difference, so he drops it low, puts him 3 wide with not much room at all, but it kind of looks like the room was there until it wasn't.
And we see the 13 go hard into the wall there.
A very hard hit, and we see multiple other cars collect. We start getting a head count maybe on who was involved in this one.
Yeah, I mean, just taking a look at some of the names I'm reading: David McCullough, Garrett Hummel, Aiden Stevens, Buster Malcolm, John Marino, and David McCullough, all involved in that one. And we saw vehicles even being involved there throughout the duration and the exit of that one there. Definitely quite the field, but unfortunately, the only meatball we are reading right now is the number 74 of Aiden Stevens, Kevin. And it doesn't look like the forehead tattoo is going to be happening this time around. An unfortunate one there. And about another transfer out there for the number 93 of Reagan Shockley, who's sitting in 4th place right now. Started in P17 to start this one.
Yeah.
They made up quite a few.
I also read that was this was their home track Dover, so it would be nice to see a nice finish for Regan Shockley out here. And I gotta say that incident kind of just seemed like a lack of patience. Seemed like it was a forced move, even if it was technically there. A little bit unnecessary to go 3 wide to the bottom, in my opinion. But I'd say the price was definitely paid for a lot of drivers there.
Yeah, absolutely. As we still see quite a few of them still sitting in the pits as the light is off the pace car, possibly just trying to make up some of that damage out here. We still see, what is that? Let's say 24, 25 still on the lead lap. But how about that 93's paint scheme, the old Wii? What's your favorite Wii game, Kevin?
What was the question?
Favorite Wii game? OG Wii.
I probably played the most of either Mario Kart or Sports Resort. I've always been a big Super Slugger guy, though.
Oh,
big Mario Super Slugger fan.
Yeah, I was about to say that was always quite the banger there. Another underrated one was the Rapala or Rapella fishing game.
The bass fishing.
Yeah, that one's also pretty damn fun. Either way, we'll see what the 93 of Reagan Shockley can do with that old school Nintendo Wii luck. So they're all going to make their way to the restart zone, single file once again. And it's going to be Sean Merriman with his first jump of the night out here on the restart.
Yeah, and we saw Kenny McCullough come in this time and take those tires, so he's going to be on fresh Goodyears. I imagine the same for Kian Fry. Yeah, he took his as well. Both of them have had enough of kind of that off-pace feel with the old tires.
The only real two wide battle right now happening. Right around that same spot we saw it last incident, Kevin. It was right around the top 10, I believe. We still see 21 drivers on the lead lap here as we're approaching the 70 lap. Still a bit of a lead going on.
Yeah, and you know that blinking is the 28 of Connor Price, who I was kind of talking about earlier. Him and Dawson both seeming to have maybe some blinking issues this evening. Nothing too.
Not something you want to see.
Nothing too scary yet.
We can hope it remains that way. As we were briefly watching there on board, the number 9 of Al Likens was sitting in the top 10, 7 right now. Outside on the 26, 28, sorry, that's going to be Connor Price. Quite a bit of room there, all comes back in, and man, you just see how much extra speed they get there on that outside line from the back straight. It's crazy. And Aiden Stevens fans in the chat saying that they have not been this disappointed since Shrek 3. The Shrek 3 movie coming?
I mean, it's hard to beat Shrek 2, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, yeah, I don't know. I think any making of Shrek 3 would have been a disappointment after Shrek 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to one-up Shrek 2 there. I'd have to agree with you on that statement. But we see quite the battle going on right now. P4 and about, what is that, P8?
Yeah, absolutely.
We see the yellow flag, and we see an incident going on behind us there, Kevin. Oh, no.
Oh, man, that bumper is
it's
off.
involving the 93 of Reagan Shockley.
Oh, man.
And I'll be honest, Kevin, I'm seeing a name of a repeat offender out here. We're going to have to go back and break it down, of course, but
It's like
the 11 was involved in this at some degree.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but we might have put the announcer's curse on Regan Shockley talking about that scheme, the whole caution.
Yeah, it just may be.
Both kind of holding their own right here.
The 11 just kind of...
Well, it looks to me like the... Let's go back and take another look at it, of course. It looks to me like the 93 of Regan Shockley comes off the wall. 11 goes up a little, 93 goes down a little, and they kind of meet in the middle. Slowing it down, yeah, it looks like going down and going up at the same time. And this time, that's going to be the 11 losing their front bumper. I'd imagine the 93's front bumper also hanging on by just a thread. Oh, and gets really packed in there.
I was going to say, there was a lot worse for the 93, unfortunately, from that one.
Oh.
And that's going to be something that we're going to have to go break back even more. That was between the
yeah. Can we watch the Can we watch the on-car of Chad Strelo and see kind of what happened there?
Let's take a look here.
And I hear David McCullough is out of the infield care center and charging through the pits looking for a fight.
Alright, we're watching on board the number 4 of Chad Strelo.
It's like not reading the checkup at all.
Holy hell.
And I think that's sort of
That's the end of the night for him.
the definition of an ARCA break right there.
Yeah, and that is 100% an end of the night for him. We see the engine smoking. The whole front end is completely gone. And it's also, unfortunately, the end of the night for the 93 of Reagan Shockley. As I believe we see a front wheel bearing loose there as we see the car kind of wobbling. And that is not what you want to see there for either of those drivers. And quite unfortunate for them. That's 2 more that bite the dust, Kevin, out here. And we see, I believe, 19 on the lead lap out here as it stands, I think. We're currently sitting at 7 cautions of that line we said earlier. Kevin, how you feeling about that?
I'm feeling like the over is going to kill it. I'm actually going to close that right now because
Gonna reset?
some folks would want to change their vote. I'm gonna figure out a new line for the evening.
All right. Light is off the pace car, so we'll be going green here once again. Sean Merriman still sitting in the captain's seat here to get this restart going once again. He was able to command the jump at the last one here, and he's going to look to probably try to repeat that same luck here as he gets it going once again. And Daryl Johnson making his way up into the top 2 now. We already see some 2 wide going on right now. Blaze Billing on a mission out here, it seems.
Yeah, Blaze Billing looks super fast, getting second on qualifying out here, leading some laps, getting into it with the 92, and unfortunately cycling to the back now, trying to find his position again.
And unfortunately, I believe he is a lap, if not a couple laps down from your leaders out here, and he's going to have a little bit more ground to make up. And yeah, he's a little more. He's
Yeah.
laps down.
Gonna take some luck to fall to the side of Blaze Billing out here, unfortunately, but you never know.
You never do, and that's the beauty of racing out here. Anything can happen. But everyone's seeming to file into that single file wide racing. We're still seeing a lot of blinking going on for some drivers out here already. You gotta hope that doesn't persist out here, because if it does, it can really create some dangerous racing out here. Kenny McCullough making the pass right now on the 28 of Connor Price, who's been one of those point defenders. He's not quite going to have it, as we know that exit speed is just so fast through the exit of 2 down the back straightaway, and it's going to give that advantage there to Connor Price. And Kenny right up on his bumper, going to get into his bumper a little bit there.
Yeah, get him off the track a little bit, and we see him blinking out a little bit more. Kenny McCullough is going to cleanly get by. Cleanly enough, at least.
Not opting to let that blinking get the better of him. He's going to nudge him out of his way and get around him, and that's going to put him back into the top 10 now, Kevin. He's sitting in P7. But Sean Merriman's still leading this thing, but Daryl Johnson looking at his inside here. He wants a crack at it. They're going down the back straightaway. We know the speed advantage is on that outside, and it shows every time.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, if you're Daryl Johnson, you don't want to get out of position too much because you got the 9 car of Al Likens right behind you looking for that second position, so he's just going to opt to file back up to that high side and, you know, live to pass another day.
Especially when making their way around lap traffic. That's the 23. John Marino, who is now going to fall a lap down.
And to the inside goes Daryl Johnson. He's going to take a crack at it. They're going to be side by side. Al Likens opting to go low. Then back up to the outside. A good move there by all Lycans to kind of convince Daryl Johnson to take the run to the inside, and he's going to use that to go around him on the outside.
And you know, if you're that guy up in the front there of Sean Merriman, that's exactly what you want to see. You want to see the guys in your rearview mirror battling it out. Just slowing themselves down there and really, you know, taking away the competition from being in front of you. Still seeing a good bit of too wide racing back there. We saw some happening there by, was that Kenny McCullough there in the 62. Kenny is on a mission here. He's made up a few more positions. He is now up into 6th place. Speaking of man on a mission, Dawson Price, after having to serve that penalty, he is now just shy of a top 10 now, Kevin. He's in 12th place. Get up there on that high line. He's running on a significantly later pit than a lot of these other guys, Kevin. He's no doubt going to be feeling those tires here shortly, if not already. We're creeping towards that 100 lap marker in this thing, Kevin, and we're going to begin to pedal towards the back half of this thing. Already over the halfway point in this thing, and we see quite the separation from your leaders here, Kevin, just between Omar Rodriguez and Kenny McCullough. It's about a 3-second gap between your top 4 and the start of that second group that's being led by position 5, Kenny McCullough.
And as we know, Kenny McCullough has a few laps stronger tires as opposed to the guys in front of him. So it's going to be interesting to see if that, you know, poses a difference here coming towards the latter half of this race.
And look at this battle we have right here around P10, Kevin. That's Kian Fry, Kyle Van Drunen, Hunter Ezell, and Jacob Petrosky, all looking to still fight and stay on this lead lap here. So, you know, they're all looking to try to make these passes. The 01 shoots it low on the 36. He's going to look for the inside there. Jacob Petrosky going to try to make his way clear around him. Get a little bit into the exit wall there and going to probably slow him down a little bit. Looking to make their transfers here. Sean Merriman, though, sitting over a second off of Daryl Johnson here. He's starting to really put some time away on him.
The current line right here is 17 and a half cars on the lead lap at the end of the race. Right now, 67% of viewers think it's going to be under that, and we currently see on our lead lap '19. So Going to be interesting to see if the over holds strong, or if we're going to see more wrecking out here. We got about 64 laps to go. We're reaching that lap 100 mark. Sean Merriman's still leading the way around here. Kenny McCullough has kind of fallen off the pace a little bit, as he's now 5 seconds behind, but it seems like those front four that we were talking about are all spreading out themselves. Omar Rodriguez continuing to make up time. One car at a time, he's up into second place now.
Laps to go out here this time, and Sean Merriman looking like he's kind of starting to run away with this thing.
Yeah, and it does seem that way. Look, could we get a read on last? Thank you. And it seems like Omar Rodriguez came in lap 52. Daryl Johnson a little bit earlier. Al Likens same lap. Do we have a read on when Sean Merriman came in?
Looking like, you know, typically it reads when there's other drivers around him, and he's put enough distance between him and every other driver around him that it's really not giving me an accurate read, unfortunately, Kevin.
I got you.
But as soon as he gets near somebody else, we should get some kind of read. Actually, there we go. He last pit on lap 43.
43, so he's got a little bit older of tires as opposed to some of the guys behind him. We see Omar Rodriguez difference, or if Rodriguez is burning up his stuff. But now we're seeing Sean Merriman dealing with some lap traffic, so it's going to be interesting to see how this battle is going to go, as I would imagine Omar Rodriguez is on a pretty good pace to catch up to Sean Merriman.
And he's eaten away ever so slowly, but as soon as we say that, he almost kind of seems to fade off there as well, so kind of tough to say out here, but you see the field of drivers all spread out there on the top track map. But, you know, I hate to say it every single time, because it seems like right after I do, something happens, but so far a pretty good green flag run out here. A good stretch so far for these guys.
Absolutely.
You know, as much as you had to reopen up the vote there, I'm still taking my my under here. I think it's going to stay under 11 cautions out here. I still believe in the guys out here, and I'm hopeful for him to get it done. As we see the 09 making his way down into the pits. It's going to be Travis Farmer. He's opting to make his way in and freshen up on some either tires or fuel. The 8 of Daryl Johnson looking to take the inside there. Yet another lap car. He's likely looking to try to catch up to Omar Rodriguez, who is still kind of falling off on Sean Merriman, Kevin. I don't know what Sean Merriman's got under the hood of that car, but he's clearly got something figured out. He's on older tires and still putting time up on Omar Rodriguez.
Yeah, and I'd imagine he's in his most ideal position right now. No lap traffic, no actual traffic around him. He's just able to take his preferred line, whether that be his tire-saving line or his full push line, and just kind of, you know, guide himself around the track. And I think that's kind of what's keeping him in such a dominant spot right now, as Omar Rodriguez is kind of back there. He's had to pass a handful of guys to get to the position he's in right now. And one can only hope he hasn't overheated his tires.
See Sean Merriman slowly making his way up on the drivers in front of him. I believe that's going to be Jeremy Osborne in the 41. He is the next vehicle at risk of going a lap down, and his risk is getting higher and higher as Sean Merriman is really digging and making up some time here. He is moving and putting some separation between him and the guy in second place, closing up on a almost 2-second gap now on Omar Rodriguez. Ooh, man, really digging there, Sean Merriman. We see those tires slipping there through the exit up turn 4, but still able to make up time and make the pass on the lap car, on the now lap car, Jeremy Osborne on the 41. See 3 drivers making their way into the pit lanes. It's going to be Nick Haynes, Blaze Billing, John Marino, Jeremy Osborne going to join as well. Sean Merriman's still making up the time out here, but I will say after passing that lap car, the gap between him and Rodriguez has closed a little bit. Not much, but it's closed a bit. Kenny McCullough sitting in 8th place right now. He is approaching... Who is that there in that? Let's see who that is. That's Kian Fry in the 99. Still sitting in the top 10, but still sitting quite far off on the leader right now. They are definitely hoping for a caution here, as well as I believe probably a lot of other drivers out here who have seen a lot of Sean Merriman in their rear. Not as susceptible here to being put a lap down like they were at the last track out here at 5 Flags, with this track being a little bit longer, Kevin. But, you know, when they get these long extended green flag runs like this, it really starts to become an issue here to get someone who knows what they're doing and putting up these lap times. Sean Merriman shown that he's the man to do it, as he has now put 13 cars behind him, and now leaving only 12 still on the lead lap here.
Yeah, Luke, and we got a little under 50 laps to go out here, and he's
Sean
coming
Merriman,
into pit.
He's going in. I was just about to ask. I wonder when we are going to see him go in, and now it's going to lead the lead for Omar Rodriguez. Daryl Johnson going to follow the leader, Sean Merriman. So is Al Likens. We're going to see 3 of your top 12 drivers making their way in. It's going to open the door now for Omar Rodriguez, who we know is on a fresher car out here. He last pit on lap 52, but he's going to make his way in the next time around, likely to top up on fuel to match the leader. At this stage of the race, he's got to be just wanting to stay in that window.
Now we see Hunter Rizal out, Dawson Price, then after that it's going to be Kian Fry and Kenny McCullough. Those two, we were looking at them about lap 60 and mentioning how they hadn't taken a set of tires yet, taking their first then, so we know those two guys have older or newer tires in terms of that first or second set goes. So I'd imagine they're going to stay out a little bit longer.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they can do with the pressure car out here as Kian Fry gets some contact there with the turn 4 exit wall. As we've seen that it has just proved throughout the duration of the night here to be an issue for a lot of these drivers. Throughout every stage of this race, practice, qualify, and the main session. This track being as hot as it is, it seemed to stay an issue out here, but through the exit of the pits now, Sean Merriman, he is on the fresher car, but now sitting a lap down. You know, we'll see how that cycles through when the rest of the guys have to make their way in, or if they do at all. But as it stands right now, Hunter Rizal leading this thing. He last pit on lap 74, along with the other 2 drivers up in the top 2. Kenny McCullough last pit on lap 63, so running a slightly older vehicle out there right now in terms of tire wear.
Dawson Price is going to come in his tires here on lap 120.
Same with Nicholas Warner.
We just saw your leader make it from about 45 to about 115, so we know they can make it about, oh god, 60 laps, I
Somewhere
think.
in that range.
70 laps, so somewhere in that range. So with them coming in with only 40 to go out here, it's going to be interesting to see how big of a factor tires really are, because these guys will no doubt be able to push it a little bit harder than they had on that last run.
And we'll have to see what they can do with it. A lot of the guys still cycling through, and with the multiple different pit strategies and the different pit cycles out here, Kevin, it's going to leave for a very awkward transfer here. We see the 19, I believe, getting into a little bit of that turn 4 exit wall once again. Kian Fry, the number 99, knocking at the door. He's going to look to the inside. He's going to match him going into turn 3. His nose is going to be there. You see the 19 still hanging on to it out here. Three wide there through some of the transfers there, and that's exactly what Hunter Azell wants to see in his rear view. Some trouble getting around the lap traffic is Kian Fry.
Yeah, and Merriman trying to make his way, back onto the lead lap. I know a caution right now would hurt a lot of drivers, Luke.
Yeah, that it would, as we only see 5 on the lead lap right now. Kian Fry currently sitting in the lead. A little bit of contact between him and the 19 of Hunter Azell, who's going to look to the outside and make the transfer. It's going to be clear for the time being. He's going to drop down. We see a little bit of wall contact there by, I believe, one of the lap cars there. And it's making for quite the dangerous transfers out here for some of the drivers now, Kevin, but definitely a very spread out field right now. A caution would definitely make things extremely interesting. Matt Morrison, the only other driver and the closest one to a lap down potentially, is 15 seconds off the leader, Hunter Azell. I think we're starting to see some more worn tires as we're seeing a lot of these lap cars pushing past the leader. In which there being the number 18, Sean Merriman, your previous leader there. He's going to make his way around and be back on the lead lap.
Sure, that's a relief to him, you know, even if a caution were to come out at this point, he's in a good position.
Definitely a sigh of relief there, no doubt, but now your lead is going to transfer over to Kian Fry. We see Hunter Azell fade off here. Another vehicle there making the pass around him, as we're going to see him go down towards the entrance pit road, likely make his way in this time. There
Absolutely,
he goes.
And that leaves 3. As it's going to be Kian Fry, Jacob Petrosky, and Kenny McCullough. Hunter Azell into the pits. Omar Rodriguez able to get his lap back as well. Next to try to get his lap back is going to be the 8 car of Daryl Johnson.
Transfer attempts still going on out here, Kevin. We are 30 laps remaining in this one this time. 29 this time around now after Kian Fry crosses start-finish. And it's going to slowly wind away out here, Kevin, and if these guys are not careful, Kian Fry might just be able to run away with this thing out here. He last pit on lap 74. He's going to make his way into the pit out here, I believe, for the final time of the night for him, along with a lot of the other drivers, but it's going to leave the lead to Jacob Petrowski. Last pit on lap 74 as well. We know he's on a very worn-up car, and he's going to want to make his way in anytime now. we see a lot of the drivers starting to complete that cycle through. Sean Merriman really making up a lot of positions here. Jacob Petrowski still holding on to this thing out here, though. The number 9 of Al Likens looking at the inside. He's going to make up his lap. 28, I believe, going to be looking to try to make up one as well as the 62. See the 102 making their way into the pits there. That's Buster Malcolm. John Marino sitting in the pit stall as well. Oh, and the 28 loose across the field, and oh man, we see a hard hit there across the front of Connor Price.
Absolutely, we do. Connor Price takes a lick there.
And like you said, Kevin, a very unfortunate spot for a caution there. It's going to leave 6 drivers in the lead lap out here. We're going to go back and break this one down and see what happened out there. We know that was eerily close to the leaders.
Yeah, it was between him and the 62, and I don't know if it was dirty air or if there was actual contact, but I have to take a look here.
62 gets his nose up there.
Oh, there was contact.
Oh, man, yes, there was. Gets him very off-center.
Spins him like a top.
Yep, we see a little bit of lag there at the exit of that, but go back and slow this down here as they go through the exit here. And the 62 obviously trying to stay off the wall there. Kind of seems to come down a little bit, but the 28 also making his way up. It's tough to call one of those kind of situations there, Kevin. The 96 just trying to throttle through it. And like you said it there, spins him like a top. And that unfortunately leaves Connor Price likely with quite a bit of damage as he is crab driving right now around the field.
Yeah, and honestly a huge break there for Jacob Petrowski and Kenny McCullough, as they are both able to come in, get that last set of tires, and still remain on the lead lap out here. Be seeing a lot of wave arounds, I'd imagine.
Yeah, likely so. You know, one other driver that we've been mentioning all night tonight, Kenny McCullough, sitting comfortably in second place, going to be making their way into the pits. He is definitely hungry for a lead out here, as it's going to be under 25 laps to go here when we go.
Yeah, and if you're Sean Merriman, I don't think that caution is what you want to see. I think he had the pace to find his way back to the lead around Petrowski and McCullough, especially with them needing to come in once again for, a pit. But yeah, it seems like it just doesn't come at a very good time for anybody, except for the 2 drivers mentioned.
I mean, we'll have to see what it does for him out here, as a lot of the drivers going to be let around out here. Just looking at your top 5 right now, we're seeing the pit lap here for some of your leaders out here. Your leader, Sean Merriman, last pit on lap 115. We see Kenny McCullough last pit on lap 135. Omar Rodriguez follows on 135. Darrell Johnson on lap 134. Al Likens on lap 135. And that's just your top 10 out there. You see a couple more on the relative out there just in terms of where the leader is right now. But a lot of them going to be probably getting the wave around here once they cross the start finish.
Yeah, and once again, another huge shout out to Fast Fred's Wrap Shop on the sponsor this evening. Great to have Fast Fred's on board. If you're looking for a wrap, you know who to contact, either Fred, or if you don't know how to get a hold of him, contact us and we will direct you towards him.
Light is off the pace car, and for the first time in a while tonight, Kevin, we are going to be looking at a 2-wide restart. We know the guys had 3 extra sets of tires apart from the one they had started on this one. No fast repairs. We're getting down to the witching hour out here, less than 25 laps to go. Light's back on the pace car out here. They're going to extend it a little while longer out here. see what these guys can do out here.
Yeah, and am I right to assume that we saw the pit from Kenny McCullough as well as Hunter Rizal? Or not, Jacob Petrosky?
He's currently sitting back in 5th place right now. Take a look out here.
Yep. Came in on 135,
Yep.
so they've got the freshest cars out here. Let's see if they can do anything with it.
And we'll have to see. You'll have to remind me, Kevin, out here. What's next up on our schedule out here for the series? I know we had a little
Next
bit of a
up,
schedule change.
we're gonna be going to Charlotte.
Charlotte, ooh, nice.
That should be a fun one.
Yeah, I was about
You
to
know,
say,
that-
that'll be a very fun one.
More in our wheelhouse than some of those tracks among the likes of Five Flags. But pace cars in. Sean Merriman on the restart here with Kenny McCullough on his outside. Green, green, green. Here we go. 22 laps remain.
Once again, a 2-wide restart out here. We haven't seen one of those in a while out here on the afternoon. 22 laps to go out here. The guys trying to make their passes early here. They know it's crunch time.
Yeah, and
Kenny
Al
McCullough.
Lycan's already trying to make a move here on Omar Rodriguez. They're going to make it too wide and leave Sean Merriman and Kenny McCullough to kind of run away with it a little bit. But Omar Rodriguez will be able to defend, and the caution
we already
flies.
see caution.
It's going to be number 9.
Oh, and we see it happen around John Marino. And the 27 as well as involved. I believe that is Mike Hill. And as soon as we go green, we are immediately under caution out here once again, Kevin, and that's going to take us to number 9, I believe.
Appreciate the kind words, Devin. We are cute.
Yeah, we are.
Oh.
And 23 looks like he gets into the wall a little bit there. 27 tries to
Yeah.
avoid, and the 09 just did not see the checkup from the 27, who was off speed, gets into his bumper and gets him hard into the wall, Kevin. And that is a very hard hit for him, as they both collect down near the bottom of the field. And another driver I'd like to point out here, Kevin. I don't know if he was involved in that or what. No, unrelated here. Daryl Johnson gets into something uninvolved out here. Sees a 3-wide situation. The 27 gets into him and gets him up into the wall. And Kevin, that's going to do it for him. That's the end of his race. That's a meatball flag for Daryl Johnson on that incident.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
that leads to the incident up ahead as well. Man, look at that. Mike Hill, you see getting involved in both halves of that wreck out there, the beginning and the end of it. Getting into a 3-wide scenario, gets up high and sends the 8 into the wall. Hits the meatball there. Unfortunately, gets into another one right afterwards with the 23, and it's gonna lead to a very hefty incident for the both of them, and a very unfortunate end of the night for Daryl Johnson, who looked strong out here all afternoon, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. And, correct me if I'm wrong, Luke, but I think we see Sean Merriman come in and get some fresh tires here.
Yeah, and we see he last pit on, bear with me 2 seconds, lap 141. Yeah, he just came in and on his way out right now, so he is rocking a fresh set of tires out here. He's sitting in P7. The rest of the guys up here in your front, up through P1 through 4, all pit on lap 135. Dawson Price pit on lap 119. Travis Farmer on lap 135 as well. But Sean Merriman and Nolan Gross right there, both running the pit on lap 141 strategy, both opting to take the fresh tires out here. We'll see if that benefits them here as we approach, I believe, 17 to go out here when we go green.
And currently it's going to be a tire advantage and a position advantage for the 03, but If I'm him, I'm looking in my rear view and trying to find that 18 car of Sean Merriman, who now has the freshest tires alongside Gross, and he has been quick all day. Does he have the time to make up 7 positions, though? We're going to find out.
We'll have to see. He's going to have about 17 laps to do so, as the light is off the pace car this time, and they'll be going green. We'll see what they can do out here. Kenny McCullough searching for his first win of the season. He's been searching for it this whole time out here, and the pace car is going to make its way in. He's going to have his choice at a restart here, as it's going to be too wide once again through the restart zone.
Green flag. Another good jump for the leader out here, but Al Likens and Omar Rodriguez side by side. The advantage right now to Al Likens is he's going to clear and have a lot of speed here.
One guy to watch out for here is the 18 of Sean Merriman. He's got those fresh tires out here, Kevin, and he's going to be looking to dig early here. Going to be probably hunting for the transfers here early. 16 laps to go out here before this thing is over. Can Kenny McCullough hold off the rest of these guys out here? He's sitting about 0.3 of a second here lead on the 92 of Omar Rodriguez, but going to close it out. I'd like to point it out here, Kevin. Omar Rodriguez just set the fastest lap out here this past lap. He set up a 23:22. He is looking to catch up to Kenny McCullough. Omar Rodriguez looking at the inside here. He's going to have his nose in here, getting ready to go through the exit into the back straightaway, but we know that's where the outside speed remains. Still going to have that separation there.
Yeah, and Al Likens seemed really quick off the restart there, but has since faded out a little bit. Now Dawson Price, who we know had the issues earlier today, is now sitting in a podium spot. A huge turnaround for the 54 machine.
Yeah, and you know, just noticing out here, he's one of the only ones running a Toyota out here on the evening. The rest of the front field in your top 20, dominated by Chevys here, apart from the singular Ford and 2 Toyotas.
The dive by Merriman, he knows he has that tire advantage, and he's going to use it. Get enough arch to clear, and he is on the move up into 4th position. And if you're McCullough, I would say that that is his biggest fear. The 18 car of Merriman. 10 to go out here.
And the question becomes, can you run him down, even on those fresh tires? Is there enough time? Can Kenny hold it off out here? Omar Rodriguez still chasing him down out here, looking to get it done. And that's going to bring us to our 10th caution out here, Kevin.
Oh boy.
Not too sure where we're reading it right now. I'm not reading any specific names out here. We'll have to go back and see where it takes us. There it is. It happens between Kian Fry and the 29. What is that? Nicholas Warner, I believe. Going into turn 3. Oh. And you know, I mean, I hate to call it that early, but it almost looks like a case of more worn tires there, Kevin, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
The grip starting to slip out here as the 29 out here. We'll have to maybe go back and take a look at his onboard here and see if we can get an idea.
Yeah, and it's kind of almost a lock up there, as it just seems like he lost all control of the vehicle.
And definitely unfortunate for him and the 99 of Kian Fry, who is involved as well.
But that's now going to put the 18 of Merriman on the second row, and I know we've been watching him closely because he's been, a very quick car out here, led a great deal of these laps, and now has the freshest tires. So it's going to be interesting to see if A, he can clear the 54 of Dawson Price, who's also had a decent night in terms of speed. I know he's had some issues, but led some laps of his own. See if he can A, clear him, and B, make it up to the 03 and the 92. It's going to be a shootout of about 6 laps once we go green here, though, Luke. And I gotta say, from a leader's perspective, it looks like Kenny McCullough is sitting in a good spot just from us seeing, that advantage that the leader gets just on the restart itself.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we'll have to see if he can use it to his advantage out here. We know he's on a more spent vehicle than some of the other guys up there, now creeping into the top 5, so he's definitely going to be giving it his all out here to try to defend it, but I guess the question is really going to come down to, does he have the tire wear to hold him off? He's going to have to do it for 6 more laps out here, assuming we don't see any more cautions. We have 10 drivers on your lead lap out here, so it's going to be your top 10. And it's all going to come down to this out here, Kevin. Pace car is going to make its way in, maybe for the last time out here on the night, Kevin. You want to call this restart?
Absolutely. Pace car is in. We're side by side with 6 to go out here. Green flag, green flag. Here we go. Good jump for the 03. 92 of Rodriguez. Right behind in that battle between Dawson Price and Merriman that I was talking about seems to go into the favor of Sean Merriman, as he is clear into third on the fresh tires. Here he comes. With 6 to go, he's making a move on the 92 of Omar Rodriguez. Not going to have it on the inside. But they are side by side.
Oh, they
in contact.
There's contact, and it's going to get Omar loose. That's going to back up and slow a lot of the guys behind him. Oh, man. And if you're Kenny McCullough, that's exactly what you want to see. You want to see him beating and banging behind you. Just anything you can do to slow down that speed demon behind you on that fresher set of tires out here. I imagine we're going to see Merriman slowly chip away at the time here at these last couple laps, but as I say that, I don't know. Kenny's still starting to pull away.
Yeah, and it's a great save by Omar Rodriguez. But if you're Kenny McCullough, you want, you want Sean Merriman to be kind of affected by that more, as he seems to clear out of it pretty seamlessly. But it looks like almost Jacob Petrowski is kind of gaining time. I don't know if there was some damage or what kind of killed the run of the 18, but it...
Oh, man. And yeah, Jacob Petrowski on his bumper here. They're both closing the distance on Kenny McCullough. It's going to be 3 to go. Jacob Petrowski looking at the inside there. It's going to force Sean Merriman up to the wall. And that's going to slow him down drastically.
Really going to hurt him.
Oh,
and now
man.
Petrowski into second. Hunter Azell out of nowhere into third.
Still looking to hunt down Kenny McCullough out here. He still sits 0.4 of a second up with just 2 more laps to go. Is that going to be what it takes out here for Kenny McCullough to win this thing?
White flag is out. Whatever happens, happens here. We are staying green. Kenny McCullough takes a little bit of a higher look than Petrowski, as he is right there. Jacob Petrowski
looking to maintain the speed. He's there on his bumper. What's it going to be?
Oh, Gives him a little bit of a push. Clean thus far.
Oh, the wall contact! Oh, man, and Jacob
Jacob
Petrosky's gonna steal
Petrosky.
it!
Oh,
Oh, and Kenny doesn't
Oh.
like it! Oh, shit!
oh man, what a finish! And we are gonna have to go back and watch
boy.
that one,
Oh,
as
man.
I can't help but imagine Kenny McCullough is heartbroken right now.
Heartbroken, frustrated, who knows? Let's go back and take a look at that. We know he was on the more spent tires out here. We're going to watch the overhead here going through the last sequence of turns out here. And you know, if you're Jacob Petrosky, not wanting to back up an inch here, looks at the inside and just, oh.
Straight lines him.
Straight lines him. No real other way to say it. I mean, we're going to go back and slow that down just a little bit here. I think we see a slight bit of contact there through turns 3 and 4, the old nudge off the line. But I don't think the 01 had as much... Oh, man. And yeah, he really does just kind of straight line him there. And, you know, I guess that beckons the question, does that stand, Kevin? We don't officiate the races. We don't know how that happens and how that looks, but we'll watch the onboard here of your, as it stands, current race winner, Jacob Petrosky. We know it happens right here on the exit. We just want to see how that wheel looks here going through the exit. I mean, having the wheel cranked as much as you can, but I think those tires were about spent, and unfortunately just rubs Kenny off speed enough to put the 01 up in front. I'd have to imagine that one's probably going to get reviewed after this.
Well, look, I just went over and I asked the race control kind of what's the calling on that, and they said under review and to, you know, just stick around. So, just gonna, for a second here, not really interview anybody, but could we take a look here at the unofficial top 3?
Yeah, and as
I know we saw more beating and banging for 3rd place back there. If we could go take a look at that real quick. Looks like Sean Merriman was able to sneak into that. Ooh, kind of a very similar situation, but
between him and the 19.
Merriman able to tank that one and get himself a nice podium finish out here.
Yeah, and as it stands, your unofficial results, of course, like we said, under review at the moment, but as it stands, the win unofficially has resulted to Jacob Petrosky, Kenny McCullough in 2nd, and Sean Merriman in your top 3. Still subject to change out here. We'll see how it goes through. Everyone feel free to put your inputs out there in the chat. Let your opinions be known. But I know there at the end we saw a bit of a hard shot there by Kenny. I kind of want to see what that was at the end of it.
Unfortunately, we're not going to get the inputs. I think just by us being spectator maybe, but definitely some frustrations, if I would imagine, from the 03.
Yeah, and I mean, it's definitely gonna be an interesting one out here to see how this one is called. But we still don't really have we don't have any results just yet to really share with you guys as it stands. But overall, we did see quite an exciting race out here. They were banging up until the final couple moments there.
I think as far as interviews go, I'm going to go ahead and get Sean Merriman, your 3rd place finisher, over in here and see what he has to say about his race, because you know, we're not really on hold for that. I'd imagine that's a pretty I can confidently say that that's going to stay as far as 3rd place goes.
Yeah, let's bring him on in.
Hey, Sean, guys in the booth, you got a copy?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Hey, man, what a race. I mean, it seems like you had strategy there. We saw that nice green flag run. You were the first to get back your lap, and you were really moving through the field. And then we saw that very unfortunately timed caution. You know, fast forward a little bit in the race, and we saw you actually take with I think about 19 to go, that last set of tires, and you were absolutely moving through the field. You want to talk us through that decision to take your tires there?
Yeah, I don't know what I was necessarily thinking there. I tend to do weird strategy stuff, and sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. It looked like the guy that won was on like 5 lap old tires. He waited till the very, very end, so maybe I should have waited till the end, or probably should have just pitted with the rest of the guys there a couple laps before. But it is what it is. I love Dover; it's a good track for me, so I had a feeling I'd run well unless I screwed up, did something dumb. But I'll take third. It's cleanest cleanest race I've had in this league this season, so I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely able to show your ability with the long green flag runs here tonight. I want to ask, you had the best seat in the house as far as that finish between first and second goes. Do you have any opinions on that one?
Honestly, I was too busy wrecking myself. Race. I don't know who I was racing for third, but we pretty much had the same type of finish, so I didn't necessarily see what happened. I figured a bump was going to happen going into three, because I thought third was where I wanted to be there at the end. Top two take each other out. They just managed to hold off until they got to the finish line and scrape across 1-2. But yeah, I was too busy trying not to destroy the field myself and just hold it up against the wall when I drove myself off turn four into the wall. So I don't know. I've seen it didn't look too dirty to me. I've seen horrible, terrible, nasty, come from 4 car lengths back and never lift going into turn three to wipe somebody out on the last lap. So to, pull a Ricky Craven, Kurt Busch looking finish there at the end for the win, I mean, I don't know. It's not that bad.
Absolutely. Well, great finish here tonight for you getting a podium. After an up and down night, a lot of ups though, going into Charlotte. Do you feel confident going into is it our second longest track by mileage of the season? How do you feel going into that one?
Charlotte's probably hit or miss for me too. I won there in another league I'm in on Monday nights a couple weeks ago, but that's kind of that's sort of kind of a track position track. So it's a matter of cycling to the front during pit stops and being able to hold your spot. I think that's the way it raced for us in that league anyway. So just trying to you can't control when cautions come out, but if they fall right for you, then you can have a good run. I just try to stay clean and make it till the end. And there's a lot of carnage in this league, so if you can do that, you can pretty much come away with top 10. So that's all I really try to do week to week.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate it, and congratulations out here on the podium finish. Is there anyone you'd like to shout out before we get you out of here?
Yeah, I got to thank Omar and the WWSS team for putting on the league. You guys for the broadcast. Wife, kid, parents, nieces, brother, sister. I will shout out my niece Harper. Today is actually her 11th birthday. There's no way, no chance in heck that she should be up at 11:15 on a school night though. But I don't know. I'll shout her out and send it to her. She can watch that clip tomorrow.
Absolutely. Well, happy
Absolutely.
birthday to
Happy
her,
birthday.
and
Appreciate it.
congratulations on the podium.
Thank you guys.
Thanks. Now, Sean Merriman led a lot of laps out here and able to get himself into a podium spot. And we just got word, Luke, that the finish is going to stand. Jacob Petrovsky is your winner out here, getting it done. And I'm gonna go ahead and see who we got. We got both of them ready for an interview. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in our second place finisher, Kenneth McCullough Jr. A very strong finish for him.
And let's hear what he's got to say.
Hey, Kenny, guys in the booth, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Hey man, I gotta imagine that finish to that race was kind of bittersweet. A great strategy throughout the day, kind of staying long and letting yourself have another tire set there towards the end. The car looked very fast. You want to talk us through first and foremost that decision, sort of to kind of not take tires for the first 70 or so laps of the race.
Yeah, when we got that long green flag run there, and them guys pitted earlier. I stayed out a little longer, and then I realized I made my bed. I got to go until I run out of gas, and caution failed just at the right time to put me in a good situation. Um, that long green flag run was fun, man. That whole race was a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great race, and I gotta ask you about it. Unfortunate end, but we saw Jacob coming. He was on some very fresh tires out here, and kind of seemed out of four that he got you kind of up into the wall. Is that something you kind of expected to happen, or what was your thought process going into that last lap?
Nah, not really. It's just I don't know a whole lot of these guys around here, and they don't know me. I personally would have not done someone that way. He knew he was going to have better speed than I did through the corner there and coming out. He probably easily could have won it or tried to battle me on the outside, but he chose just to push me through the corner and shove me up into the wall and then finish squeezing me on in there. Hey, if he's happy getting the win that way, then kudos to him. Congratulations on the win. But he will have to deal with me when we get to the chase.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate it, and a very strong run for you here getting a podium finish tonight, Kenny. And you would like to shout out before we get you out of here?
Yeah, thank y'all for doing the broadcast. Thank Omar for putting these things on. It started out a little rocky this season, but I think everybody's getting a little used to everybody, and everybody's getting comfortable, and maybe we'll start getting some green flag runs.
Yeah, absolutely hope so. But as for tonight, a second place finish for Kenny McCullough.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks. That was Kenny McCullough getting second out here. A very strong run for him, but now it's time to talk to the man of the hour, Jacob Petrosky, who played his cards right and had some quite the speed there on those last handful of laps with those fresh tires, Luke.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's bring him in here and hear what he's got to say while we watch the replay here of the last couple laps here of his win.
Hey, Jacob, guys in the booth, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Hey man, what a race! And we were just kind of talking to Kenny about the strategy to kind of stay long and preserve a set of tires. And it seems like you even took that another step and had the freshest tires with just a handful of laps to go. And I mean, it really seemed to work. You were kind of flying through the field, and talk us through kind of the strategy to kind of run it long and save yourself a set.
Well, I'm not sure if you guys caught it on the broadcast, but there in the middle of that giant green flag run, my wheel disc, and I kind of flew up into the outside wall and got a bunch of damage, making me really tight. And so by that point, I figured, well, I got damage now. I better wait for a cautioner until I just run out of gas, because if I came in right after I hit the wall, I was going to go laps down and I wouldn't have even had a shot to do anything. So just lucky that caution worked out the way it did, and so many cars became a lap down. So whenever I did pit at the very end, that extra set of tires I had, I wasn't going to drop as many spots as I could have.
Absolutely, and I've got to ask, there on that last run, it was a very tight battle between you and the 03, and he kind of just told us that he thinks that you would have had a shot for it if you kind of tried to pass on the outside with the fresh grip you had. Do you agree, or do you think kind of the move you made was your only option there for the checkered flag?
That was my only option. As I said, I had damage. It was about 6.5 minutes-ish by the time I got my second set of tires. And if I try to go on that outside, I feel like I would have plowed myself straight into the wall, or he would have come up and bumped me up there, because that wall off of turn 4 really grabs you quick. So to me, that was my only option, and if I were in somebody else's shoes, that's 100% something that I would have done and would expect other people to do coming on to the final straightaway.
Yeah, absolutely. And on another note, I will tell you, it seems Wolfie Ginch has, jumped ships from an Aiden Stevens fan to a Jacob Petrosky fan, and a face tattoo might be in order, is what we're hearing.
Yes, he did text me that he said he'd get that face tattoo. So, Henry, you better be getting that tattoo. When you pull up to Daytona over in February, I better see that all up on your forehead.
Now, what is
Ab-
the tattoo going to be? Is it going to be a signature, or what are we feeling here? Do you get to set the grounds for it, or how's that working?
I don't know. I think maybe a signature in the wind sticker would go perfectly on his forehead.
Absolutely. Well, a great run for you tonight, getting the checkered flag here in race number 5 in the win column. Congratulations on that, Jacob. And anyone like to shout out before we get you out of here?
Yeah, Henry Gench, of course, pledging that face tattoo, and just the rest of my team, and everybody working together to come up with the best pit strategies as possible, and making sure at least one of us at the end always has a shot.
Absolutely. Great talking to you, Jacob, and congratulations on the win tonight.
Thank you.
That was Jacob Petrosky getting it done here, winning race number 5, Luke, here at Dover. And I've got to admit, Luke, I think this might be my favorite race of the season so far.
Yeah, I got to agree, Kevin. We saw a lot of beating, a lot of banging, but we also saw some pretty long green flag runs out here. We kind of got a good shot of it all. We saw a green flag pit cycle. We saw some caution pit cycles. We really got a glimpse of everything out here, but overall, it was an exciting finish to the race out here, and I think it's gonna boil a little bit over into this next one out here when we make our way over to Charlotte, Kevin. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, initial thoughts were, and this is just coming from a money racing perspective, is, what we broadcast a lot of. I thought, wow, that was a hard hit there at the end for the win. But, I feel like if we get more into these short track and intermediate track races, especially broadcasting, we're going to see a lot more of that. And it's kind of a different, it's a different universe of racing. And I got to admit, Luke, I like that ending.
Yeah, that I did, Kevin. I know there's there's a probably driver out there that wasn't too excited about the ending, but we'll have to see how that boils over into this next one out here as we take it to quite a longer track that we are, like you said earlier, a lot more geared to talk about, I'd like to think.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorites, Charlotte Motor Speedway. But as for Dover, I think that's going to about do it. Huge thanks to Fast Fred's Wrap Shop out here for coming on board with us. Huge thanks to everyone at WWSS, Omar, Logan, everyone else that helps make this possible out here every Tuesday. Huge thanks to all the viewers for coming out. And lastly, huge thanks to the drivers for putting on the show. Anything else, Luke?
I think you about covered all the grounds, Kevin. We'll see you guys next Tuesday out here at Charlotte. 9th Gear out. We'll see you all next week.
Peace.